The last month, I was unable to study consistently. It got especially worse in the last 2 weeks, when I lost all sense of routine. I didn't go to the gym, woke up early, or studied any language. I always feel really guilty and unproductive when I act like this, but I also try to remind myself that it happens. We can't be perfect, and sometimes our minds are just like, dude, could you just chill? We're definitely obsessed with being overly productive, and I see this happening a lot in the language learning community, where we are constantly under the idea that we should be using every single spare time of our lives to learn languages. Only watch TV shows in other languages, or only read in other languages, and only use every single spare time you have productively learning languages. Lucky for me, I've been in this position of being unmotivated and on an all-time low many times. So I really learned how to get myself back up. So I came up with this reset routine to get myself back on track and continue with my language learning plan and continue learning languages. And I actually use this routine not only for language learning, but for absolutely everything in my life. So those 3 things that I just mentioned, working out, studying languages, and waking up early, are my main struggles at the moment. But instead of trying to fix all at once, I will focus on one at a time, starting this week with languages. So if you've been avoiding your textbooks, ignoring all language learning app notifications, this video is made for you. And as always, take inspiration of what I do, but do your own thing. Only you know what's really best for you. But before we jump into today's video, I want to talk about italki. Italki hosts a challenge a couple of times throughout the year. It is an event where you challenge yourself to take a certain amount of language learning lessons in a set period of time. Like, for example, take 12 hours of lessons in 1 month. And that is just a fantastic way to push yourself to do something that is maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone. Now, this challenge is going to be available in the italki app, and it's gonna be 60 days long. Now, you get badges for accomplishment and lucky draws. And with the lucky draws, you can win up to $500 on italki credits. That's a lot of lessons. That's like the Polyglot dream. So if you really want to take your language to the next level before the year ends, I highly recommend you join the italki challenge. The challenge just started on September 16th, 2020. It's gonna last for 2 months. So if you're interested in joining this challenge and see what it could do for your language learning, go to the link in the description box down below. So the very first thing that I do when I am trying to start fresh again is that I make sure that I'm taking care of myself and my environment. I take care of myself by making myself a cup of coffee and doing my skincare and just sitting down and relaxing and take a moment to just breathe without any screen and anything that can distract me. Just me mindfully sitting down and just breathing and just taking a chill. I also take care of my environment. So when I've been avoiding certain things and my routine falls off, also my house gets kind of a mess. So I will do a little bit of house chores, and I will always start by like making my bed and organizing my workspace. So I make sure that I have a clear space, which will allow me to have a clear mind. Now that everything's nice and tidy around me, I need to clear my mind and understand where I am and why I am here. So I like to take a blank page from my journal and just randomly write stuff. I make some to-do lists, write how I feel. It's a mess, and I just let everything just be. There's no particular order of anything. I just write down everything that's in my mind at the moment to make sure that I can just let it out. Then I can organize my thoughts by just highlighting the most important things, and probably in the page next to it I will write everything a little bit more tidy up and just discard the things that aren't really that important. I also take a look back at my goals and my aspirations and where I want to be and why am I learning languages and why do I want to do this? What is my next goal? I review my study plan, I review my routine. I just look at where I am and where I want to be. If you don't know why you're doing the things you're doing, then of course you're unmotivated. You're doing things just because, without purpose. Let's see how we can get into that routine and how we can get back on track with our learning and do it in a manner that it's not gonna be excessive, but it's also not gonna be too little. So after a long break, and this might be periods of being unmotivated or holidays or anything else in your life, what I like to do is I like to start small. If I do a full-on beautiful, big plan to get back into my routine, it's likely not gonna work because I have lost the habit, I have lost my routine. So the way to get back to it, or the way that I get back to it, is by challenging myself for 7 days to do one thing every day. And I don't tell myself what that thing is, I just tell myself, hey, 7 days, just from now till next week, do one thing. Whether that's watching a TV show, or studying, or doing everything, or doing just vocabulary, or just doing 5 minutes with an app, I don't care. Just pick a consistent time and do one thing. The reason why I do this is because, like I told you, my goal is not to learn in 1 week everything that I did not learn in 2 months. My goal is simply to get back into the routine. And I only think about those 7 days. I don't think any time forward. I don't even care about what's gonna happen next. Just 7 continuous days of having contact with the language. Now, once those 7 days are over, I can think about what is gonna happen next, what I'm gonna do next. So now let's talk about what you can do right now to be motivated. How do you get yourself out of the YouTube spiral and back into learning languages like right now? There are a few things that I like to do in order to convince myself to learn languages, which, sometimes we have the motivations, sometimes we need to rely a little bit more on discipline. And when I need to rely a little bit more on discipline, I try to get myself inspired or in the mood of learning languages. One of the things I like to do in general is to set myself up for success. And it's a very simple thing that you can do today so you can start learning tomorrow. Is that I study in the mornings, so the night before I will leave my desk with my study material open so it is easily available for me. So when I wake up after my morning routine, when I get up into my desk, I can start learning languages right away. There's literally no excuse. Everything is set up for me to get started. Now, of course, this is something you can do the night before, so you set yourself for success for the next day. Now, something I do when I don't feel like learning in the moment is that I turn it into some sort of me time. So I will make myself a cup of tea, maybe light some candles, put on some lo-fi music, and just make it relaxing for me to learn the language. I also did something recently that really helped me get back into the mood, and it was that I joined a Twitch study with me stream, and I studied along with Anna from Gladly Global for about an hour and a little bit more. And it was such a great idea to not feel like I was learning alone, and she does it very well. Just so much fun to learn with other people. I really, really believe that self-study does not have to be lonely. Languages are a tool for communication, so we have to use it to communicate in many ways. And learning with others really gives you that confidence and that accountability that you really need to get back on track. I think from now on, I might try to join her like once a week because that time I did it was really fun. Other thing I like to do, if I can, I will go out and study at a cafe or at my local library, or just change the setting, just to take myself out of my boring regular place and try to, spice up my learning, if that's a thing. But in general, like, my best tip is that if you don't feel like studying, try to see if any of your friends or anyone around you is up to do a study session with you. You can do it online, you can join groups that do that, and it is way more effective because you're, again, not doing it alone. You have other people who are studying with you. You don't necessarily have to study the same thing. All you have to do is just hang out with them and make self-study a social experience. Great, so if you really want to continue into the YouTube spiral and you don't want to do anything else today, continue watching my videos. Maybe one of those will eventually get you to actually get to study. Okay, enough is enough. Go ahead and study, like, right now.